English Daily, the podcast.
Your English journey starts now. Hey, English learners, welcome back to your podcast, the English Daily Podcast.
Yes, we're so happy to have you here today.
Today's episode is all about how to talk about rage bait and online anger in natural English conversation.
That's right, and we're going to make it really practical for you because this is something you encounter every single day online.
So, whether you're a beginner or already speaking well, you'll find something useful here. We're going to teach you the real vocabulary that native speakers use.
Let's dive right in.
So, Jack, let's start with the basics. What exactly is rage bait? I feel like everyone uses this term nowadays, but I'm not sure everyone knows what it really means.
That's a great question, Anna. Rage bait is basically content that's specifically designed to make people angry. It's created intentionally to provoke strong emotional reactions, especially anger and outrage. The word bait is like fishing bait. You're using something to attract and trap people.
Oh, that's such a good analogy. So it's like fishing for angry reactions?
Exactly. And the crazy thing is, it works really well. Anger is one of the most engaging emotions online. When people get angry, they comment, they share, they argue, and that creates engagement, which is what the creators want.
I see. So the whole point is to make money from the anger? How does that work exactly?
Well, the more engagement content gets, the more money the creator makes from ads. It's literally profit from anger. That's why some people call it online anger profit, or say these creators are monetizing outrage.
That's actually really disturbing when you think about it. So they're deliberately making people upset just for money?
Not all creators do this, of course, but yes, some of them specifically design content to trigger anger because it performs better than other types of content. It's become a whole business model.
Can you give me some examples of rage bait? Can you give me some specific types?
Sure. Common examples include controversial opinions posted just to provoke reactions, exaggerated headlines, misleading content designed to upset certain groups, or intentionally inflammatory statements about hot-button issues.
Oh, I think I've seen those. Sometimes you click on something and immediately regret it because it's just designed to make you angry.
Yeah, we've all been there. The tricky part is that rage bait often looks like regular content at first glance. You don't always realize you're being manipulated until you're already emotionally invested.
That's what makes it so effective, I guess. Do you think most people can recognize rage bait when they see it?
It depends. Some people are very savvy and can spot it immediately. Others get caught up in the emotion without realizing they were baited. I think the key is to pause and ask yourself, am I feeling angry right now? And if so, was that the intention?
That's really smart advice. Pause and reflect. I love that.
Yeah, it takes practice, but it gets easier. And that's exactly what we're going to help you with today, learning the vocabulary to recognize and discuss this phenomenon.
Let's talk more about how this actually makes money. I understand the basic concept, but can you break down the actual business side of things?
Absolutely. So here's how it works. Social media platforms and content creators make money through advertising. And the more engagement content gets, likes, comments, shares, watch time, the more money they make from ads.
So, anger literally equals money in this equation?
Unfortunately, yes. Anger is one of the strongest emotions. When you're angry, you're more likely to comment, to share with your friends, saying, "Can you believe this?" and to spend more time arguing in the comments. All of that engagement is valuable.
That's kind of cynical, isn't it? Using people's anger to make money?
It is. And there's a whole industry of social engagement farming, where creators specifically learn what types of content trigger the strongest reactions. They study the algorithms and figure out exactly what to post to maximize engagement.
Is this why we see so much negativity online? Is it all just for profit?
That's a big factor, but it's not the only reason. There's also the fact that negative content is just more memorable. Our brains are wired to pay attention to threats and negative emotions as a survival mechanism. But yes, the financial incentive is huge.
So it's like the perfect storm. Our brains are wired for negativity, and creators are exploiting that for profit. Not a great combination.
Definitely not. And the scary part is that it creates a feedback loop. The more anger content gets, the more the algorithm shows similar content to other users, so it spirals out of control.
I can see that happening. You watch one angry video, and suddenly your whole feed is full of increasingly extreme content.
That's exactly what happens. The algorithm learns what engages you, and anger is such a strong engagement driver that it tends to dominate. It's become a real problem.
Are there any regulations or efforts to stop this? It seems like it could be harmful.
There are some efforts for sure. Some platforms have policies against inflammatory content, but they're not always enforced well. And honestly, it's hard to regulate because determining what counts as rage bait versus genuine controversial opinion is complicated.
Yeah, that's a tough line to draw. What about the creators themselves? Do they ever feel bad about manipulating people?
That's an interesting question. Some creators are very aware of what they're doing and justify it as just business. Others might not fully realize the impact. I think it varies a lot from person to person.
I wonder if any of them have had moments where they realized they were causing real harm. It must be strange to profit from making people angry all day.
I'm sure some of them have, but the money can be pretty addictive too. Once you find a formula that works, it's hard to stop. It's similar to how gambling can be addictive. The constant engagement feels like winning.
That's a really good analogy. It makes sense now why this has become such a huge industry.
And that's exactly why it's so important to be aware of this. Once you understand how it works, you're much better equipped to protect yourself from it.
Now let's get into the practical English. What are some common phrases native speakers use when discussing this topic?
Great question. Let me think of some of the most common ones. First, you might hear someone say something went viral. That means it spread widely online very quickly.
Oh, I've definitely heard that. That video really went viral.
Exactly. Another common phrase is clickbait. That's similar to rage bait, but more general. Clickbait is any content designed to get you to click, often with misleading headlines.
Curious. What's the difference between clickbait and rage bait then?
Good question. Clickbait is about getting clicks, while rage bait is specifically about provoking anger. You can have clickbait that's not particularly inflammatory, but rage bait always has that anger element.
I see. So rage bait is a specific type of clickbait. What else do people say?
People often talk about getting ratioed. That's when a post has more comments than likes, usually meaning the audience is strongly disagreeing. It's become very popular on Twitter, now X.
I've seen that term, getting ratioed. It sounds so specific. What about when someone's clearly just posting to start arguments?
That's called trolling, or someone might be called a troll. A troll posts inflammatory content specifically to upset people and get reactions.
Oh, I know trolls. They're like the internet version of someone who just wants to start drama.
That's a pretty accurate description. Another phrase is feeding the trolls. That's when people engage with trolls and give them the attention they want, which usually makes the situation worse.
That's good advice. Don't feed the trolls. What about when something is so anger-inducing that it causes a big controversy?
You'd say something caused an uproar or sparked outrage. People might also say it hit a nerve. That means it touched on a sensitive topic that many people feel strongly about.
What about when someone is pretending to be angry just for attention? Is there a term for that?
That's called performative outrage, when someone acts angry publicly, often for social media likes and attention, rather than because they genuinely feel that way.
That's such a modern phenomenon, and it fits perfectly with the rage bait discussion. Are there any other important phrases?
Yeah, one more important one is the algorithm. That's the system that decides what content you see. People often talk about the algorithm as if it's alive. The algorithm showed me this, or the algorithm is pushing this content.
That's such a key term. Everyone talks about the algorithm like it's this mysterious force controlling what we see online.
And now you know how to talk about it naturally. These are phrases you'll hear all the time in English conversations about social media.
Let's get personal now, Jack. Have you ever been caught up in rage bait or maybe even posted something you later regretted?
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone has at some point. There was this one time I saw a post that made me really angry. It was about some celebrity saying something controversial. I immediately commented something pretty harsh without thinking.
Oh no. What happened?
Well, I got into this long argument in the comments with strangers. We went back and forth for probably an hour. And then later I found out that the original post was actually taken out of context. The celebrity didn't say what people thought they said.
So you got angry over something that wasn't even true?
Exactly. And I wasted all that time and energy being angry over misinformation. It was a good lesson in not reacting immediately.
That's such a common experience, though. It's so easy to get swept up in the moment. Have you changed how you respond since then?
Yeah, I've tried to adopt that pause technique I mentioned earlier. When I feel that instant anger, I try to wait before responding. I ask myself, is this worth my time? Is this even real? It helps a lot. What about you, Anna? Any similar stories?
Oh, I have one. So I was scrolling through Instagram one evening and I saw this post about parenting. And for some reason, it just really got under my skin. I wrote this long response about how wrong the person was. Now, let's talk solutions. What can people actually do to protect themselves from falling into the rage bait trap?
Great question. I think the first step is awareness, knowing that this exists and that you're being targeted. Once you're aware, you can start to recognize the patterns.
What are some warning signs to look out for?
Good ones to remember are, does this make me feel angry immediately? Am I being asked to share or comment right away? Is the content deliberately vague or provocative? Does it feel like it's trying to get a reaction rather than inform?
Those are really helpful. What about practical tips, things people can actually do?
One of the best things is to take a break before responding. Even just waiting 10 minutes can make a huge difference. Another is to verify information before reacting. Check multiple sources.
I think another important one is to curate your social media feeds deliberately. Unfollow accounts that constantly post inflammatory content.
That's excellent advice. You have control over what you see. You can literally train your algorithm by engaging with content you actually want to see, rather than just reacting to what's inflammatory.
I love that idea. Take control of your algorithm. What about when you see friends or family sharing rage bait? How do you handle that?
That's tricky. You don't want to be preachy or make people feel bad. I think the best approach is to just ask questions gently, like, where did you see this? Or, did you check if that's actually true?
So you guide them to figure it out themselves rather than lecturing them.
Exactly. People are much more receptive when they feel like they're discovering something themselves rather than being told they're wrong.
That's really wise. What about the emotional toll? Does all this online anger affect people mentally?
It definitely can. Studies have shown that consuming a lot of negative content online can increase stress and anxiety. It's important to be aware of how it's affecting your mood.
So taking breaks is really important then?
Absolutely. Try to have periods during your day when you're not looking at social media. Replace that time with other activities, reading, exercise, hobbies, anything that doesn't involve a screen.
Do you think it's possible to engage with social media in a healthy way, or is it better to just avoid it altogether?
I think it is possible to engage healthily, but it takes effort. You have to be intentional about it, set boundaries, curate your feed, take breaks, and don't let it consume your life.
That's really practical advice. And remember, it's okay to log off sometimes.
Definitely. The world will still be there when you get back.
Oh, I can totally picture that.
Yeah, and looking back, I think I was just tired and stressed, and I was using that post as an outlet. The person wasn't even talking about anything that directly affected me. I just needed to vent, and I chose that post to do it.
That's really honest of you to admit. I think a lot of people do that without realizing it. Sometimes we're already in a bad mood and we just need something to blame.
Exactly. And that's the danger, right? Rage bait specifically targets those vulnerable moments when we're tired or stressed and more likely to react emotionally.
That's why it's so clever and so harmful. They know exactly when to strike. Now I try to be more aware of my emotional state before engaging with anything online.
Do you ever talk to friends and family about this? Like, do you discuss these issues in real life?
All the time. It's become a really common topic. People will say things like, "Did you see that crazy post going around?" Or, "I can't believe how angry I got over something online today." It's part of normal conversation now.
That's good to know. So English learners can definitely use this vocabulary in everyday conversations with native speakers.
Absolutely. It's super relevant. Everyone has stories to share about this.
I'm really fascinated by the psychology behind this. Why do we react so strongly to things online when we might not react the same way in person?
That's a really insightful question. I think there are a few factors. First, there's the anonymity factor. When you're behind a screen, you feel less constrained by social norms. You might say things online that you'd never say to someone's face.
That's so true. People become so brave behind their keyboards.
Exactly. Another factor is the lack of immediate feedback. In person, you can see the other person's reaction, which often calms things down. Online, you're just firing off statements without seeing the impact.
I see. And there's also the thing where being in a crowd makes people more extreme, right? Like we get more angry when we feel like we have support.
That's exactly right. It's called group polarization. When you're in a group of like-minded people, you tend to become more extreme in your views. And online, it's so easy to find your tribe, people who agree with everything you say.
What about the actual chemistry of anger? What's happening in our brains when we see something that makes us angry?
Great question. When you see something inflammatory, your brain releases adrenaline and cortisol, stress hormones. Your heart rate increases, you feel more alert, and your body is preparing for fight or flight. It's almost like a drug in a way.
That's intense. So anger actually changes our physiology?
Absolutely. And here's the tricky part. After that anger response, there's often a release of dopamine, especially if you get engagement from others. It's like a reward circuit that keeps pulling you back.
So we're literally getting high on our own anger? That's kind of scary.
It is, and that's why it can become addictive. You're not just angry, you're getting a chemical reward for being angry. It's a vicious cycle.
Does this affect different people differently? Like, are some people more susceptible to rage bait than others?
I think so. People who are already stressed, anxious, or going through difficult times are probably more vulnerable. Also, people who use social media a lot and have less offline social support might be more susceptible.
That makes sense. It's like the more isolated you are, the more you might rely on online engagement for that dopamine hit.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to have balance in your life. Strong offline relationships, hobbies, activities that give you satisfaction outside of screens.
Can you train yourself to not react so strongly? Like, can you build up immunity to rage bait?
I think you can. Mindfulness practices help a lot. Just noticing when you're starting to get angry and acknowledging it without reacting. Over time, you can develop better emotional regulation.
That's really hopeful. It's not like we're powerless against this. We can train ourselves.
Absolutely. It takes practice, but it's absolutely possible. And honestly, just being aware of what's happening is half the battle.
Okay, now let's break down some of the key vocabulary from today's episode.
First up is rage bait. Can you explain that one, Jack?
Sure. Rage bait refers to content that's specifically designed to make people angry and provoke emotional reactions. It's created intentionally to trigger outrage. Example, that video was clearly rage bait. It was designed to get people upset.
I see. Now let's talk about going viral.
Going viral means content that spreads rapidly across the internet, shared by huge numbers of people. Example, the post went viral overnight and got millions of views.
What about clickbait?
Clickbait is content designed to attract clicks, often through misleading or exaggerated headlines. It's similar to rage bait, but focused on clicks rather than anger. Example, don't click on that clickbait, it's just trying to get your attention.
Next is getting ratioed.
Getting ratioed is when a post has more comments than likes, usually indicating strong disagreement from the audience. Example, his tweet really got ratioed. The comments were brutal.
What about trolling?
Trolling is posting inflammatory content specifically to upset people and get reactions. The person doing it is called a troll. Example, don't feed the trolls, just ignore them.
Let's talk about causing an uproar.
Causing an uproar means creating a big public reaction, usually of anger or protest. Example, the celebrity's comments caused an uproar on social media.
What does hit a nerve mean?
To hit a nerve means to touch on a sensitive topic that people feel strongly about. Example, her article really hit a nerve with parents everywhere.
Now, performative outrage.
Performative outrage is when someone acts angry publicly, often for attention or social media engagement, rather than because they genuinely feel that way. Example, a lot of the anger online is just performative outrage.
What about the algorithm?
The algorithm is the system that decides what content you see on social media based on your behavior. Example, the algorithm has been showing me so much negativity lately.
Let's talk about engagement.
Engagement refers to any interaction with content, likes, comments, shares, views. Higher engagement means more money for creators. Example, the post got massive engagement because it was so controversial.
What does monetize mean?
To monetize means to make money from something. Example, they're trying to monetize their anger by creating outrage content.
Let's cover echo chamber.
An echo chamber is an environment where you're only exposed to opinions that match your own, reinforcing your existing beliefs. Example, social media can create echo chambers where you never hear opposing views.
What about fact check?
To fact-check means to verify if information is true by checking reliable sources. Example, always fact-check before sharing anything online.
Next is curate your feed.
Curating your feed means deliberately choosing what content you see by following or unfollowing accounts. Example, I curate my feed to avoid negativity.
What does take a break mean?
To take a break means to temporarily stop doing something, especially to rest or recover. Example, I need to take a break from social media for a few days.
Let's talk about addictive.
To describe something as addictive means it causes compulsive use, like a drug. Example, the engagement from social media can be addictive.
What about toxic?
Toxic describes something harmful to your mental health or well-being. Example, some online environments are really toxic.
Let's cover mindfulness.
Mindfulness is the practice of being aware of your thoughts and feelings in the moment. Example, practicing mindfulness can help you react less angrily online.
What does boundary mean in this context?
A boundary is a limit you set to protect yourself. Example, I set boundaries around my social media use.
Finally, let's talk about digital well-being.
Digital well-being refers to maintaining a healthy relationship with technology. Example, I'm focusing on my digital well-being these days.
Now it's time for some reflection questions to help you practice using today's vocabulary.
Yes, think about your answers to these questions. You can even try speaking them out loud to practice.
First question. Can you think of an example of rage bait you've seen online? What made it obvious that it was designed to make people angry?
Question 2. How do you usually react when you see something that makes you angry online? Do you comment, share, or just scroll past?
Question 3. Have you ever regretted something you posted online when you were angry? What did you learn from that experience?
Question 4. Do you think you spend too much time on social media? What are some signs that it's affecting your mood?
Question 5. How do you verify information before reacting to something online? Do you have a process for checking if it's true?
Question 6. What steps can you take to curate your feed and see more positive content?
Question 7. Do you think it's possible to discuss controversial topics online without getting angry? What strategies would help?
Question 8. How can you help friends or family who seem addicted to negativity online without sounding judgmental?
Question 9. What activities or hobbies can you do instead of scrolling through social media when you're bored?
Question 10. What is one thing you're going to change about how you use social media after listening to this episode?
Great job working through those questions. Remember, the more you practice, the more natural these conversations will become.
That's all for today, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to the English Daily Podcast.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next time.
Bye for now, English learners. Keep practicing.
Your learning journey doesn't stop here. Keep improving your English. Click the next video or explore more episodes we've picked just for you. See you in the next lesson.